found minimalism when I was desperately aching for more space. But what I did not anticipate was how decluttering my physical things led to a decluttering of everything else. Old lies, old hurts, narratives I didn't realize I had been living under. And I got rid of those too. And that was where the magic happened for me. I want to share 8 of those with you today. These are normal things I used to not think twice about that I quit to level up my life. I found this trend on YouTube, and most of the videos that I saw talking about this are like productivity tips or weight loss. And though there's nothing wrong with those, you are not gonna find those here. These literally helped my soul level up. If you're new here, I'm Jess, and I make videos on minimalism, slow living, and intentional motherhood. The first normal thing I quit to level up my life was making a sport out of body shaming myself, especially around other people. This could just be me, but did you guys grow up talking about your body with your friends, hearing your mom talk about her body, kind of lamenting over what your body looked like, whether it was your cellulite, the size of your pants, what your arms looked like? It was so normal for me growing up that body talk and ultimately body shame was just such a part of my language. I didn't think anything of it. When I was constantly talking negatively about my body, I was not just fueling my own insecurity fire, which I was, because my mind was focusing on what I was constantly talking over. It was growing larger and larger in my mind. But I was setting a fire for everybody else. I was creating an environment where they should be thinking critically about their own bodies. Think about it. Have you ever been with a friend, and let's say she starts talking about her body. She starts pointing out the cellulite in her thighs, and she starts lamenting over it. She doesn't like the way that it looks, and oh my gosh, yeah, I notice it in all my shorts, and I just don't like it, and my thighs rub together. You're sitting here, you might not have been thinking about your legs at all. You probably weren't even thinking about her legs, but here you are now, thinking about the cellulite on your legs, and thinking, oh yeah, like, well, I have cellulite on my legs. Yeah, I guess they don't look that great, because if she thinks it doesn't look that great on her legs and I have more than her, then it probably doesn't look good on my legs. All of a sudden, this contagious, negative, life-stealing thought process has now infected everyone around you. I am someone with a history of an eating disorder. I'm a woman who has grown up in a world that I think is very entrenched with diet culture. I am also someone that worked for years with women who had disordered eating habits and very negative body image. And I can tell you from my own personal life, loved ones, and old clients that there was one pretty common factor almost amidst all of them. And that is that they had people in their life significant to them that talked negatively about their own body. Having a positive body image to me is not thinking that I'm obsessed with my body and I just think it's so beautiful and I love every inch of it. It is thinking less about my body and focusing instead on how I'm feeling in my body and being so appreciative of what God has given me through my body. I have grown, birthed, and nursed a baby for 3 years and counting. I feel good. I can run and jump and play with her. I want to take care of it and I want to steward it well. My body has changed. My body will continue to change. Taming my tongue about the way that I speak about my body, especially around other people, has radically leveled up my life because it has set me free from so much of the bondage of thinking that I am literally just a body. As a mom to a daughter, I take this very seriously. Media will already give young girls so many messages that they need to be insecure about their body and that they're not enough. I personally do not want to contribute to that at all. Number 2, normal thing I quit to level up my life. This is kind of controversial. Actually, a lot of them are controversial. I'm just going to put that out there. Fantasy, fiction, and romance novels. I think I just lost a lot of you on that one. For me, escaping into these fantasy love stories, it was easier and more attractive to me than engaging with my real emotions on an everyday life. Disappointments, hurts, the feelings of being human in this world. It took me years of regularly reading these before I really had the conviction that not only was a lot of the content not something that I should be engaging in, especially with how young I was picking them up, but I was spending a lot of time in worlds that were not my own. Not to mention, as I engaged with these, as I began to date my now husband and we became in a serious relationship, got married, it was stealing life and joy from my relationship because I had unknowingly formed a lot of unrealistic, not real expectations on our relationship based on fiction. Though marriage will never look like it does in these fake romance novels, it is the opportunity to work, to build, and to cultivate something beautiful and worth working on. It is a gift to be known so intimately by someone. Fake realities cannot give you that. It is a temporary escape. And for me, it was a very unhealthy one. Number 3, normal thing I quit to level up my life: hormonal birth control. I told you these were kind of controversial. I am so grateful we have Western medicine in the case of emergencies. However, for the case of chronic conditions, hormone imbalances, prevention, I have found it to be extremely lacking. One of the biggest lies I was told in the doctor's office was that taking the pill was going to fix my hormone issues. I remember being 19 and by that point having a huge list of diagnoses like severe IBS, hypothalamic amenorrhea. Then when I did get my cycle back, it was so painful. I couldn't walk during certain parts of my cycle. Hypothyroidism, did I mention that? Severe anxiety, cystic acne, and over again being told that taking the pill was my only option. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. As a matter of fact, what I came to learn was that not only is it not actually helping my hormones or fixing anything, it was simply covering up symptoms. I had horrific side effects from the pill. The narrative that your body as a woman is broken and having a cycle is just something you have to endure, as opposed to learning about your body and actually being empowered to know your cycle, to interpret the symptoms of your body and to be able to support and help heal your body, that leveled up my life in so many different ways. 4th normal thing I quit to help up-level my life was food rules and black and white thinking about foods in general. I did all the health trends you can think of. I always had a running list of food in my brain that at that point in time, depending on what trend I was doing, depending on what diet I was doing, these foods are good and these foods are bad right now. It was constantly moving, it was constantly switching, but I always had one. It was always fear-based, it wasn't really educational-based, and it was very anxiety-producing. Food became joyless. What I realized was that my perfectionistic desire for black and white, good, bad foods was really just an extension of my black and white way of trying to control everything in my life. That is such a counterfeit for true health. For me, understanding my physiology, how to best nourish it, what it needs to feel good, and build an intentional food culture in my home. I am very intentional about what I feed my family. I think that there is so much wisdom to be found in traditional food cultures, proper preparation, what brings you pleasure. You can't really cultivate a food culture like that in your home based on 30-second reels on Instagram that are just designed to make you afraid of things. Number 5, normal thing I quit to level up my life was making messy a personality trait. In the last few years of pursuing minimalism, of starting to unpack a lot of those narratives and things, what I have realized is that it was not necessarily that I was just a messy person. I had an inventory problem, I had an identity problem, and ultimately, I had a practice problem. Too much stuff caused too much stress for me. I massively overestimated how much stuff I should be able to manage. Ergo, right from the get-go, I had a hard time keeping my space clean ever. I had an identity issue. I thought, well, this is just who I am. There's no point in changing it. I'm just messy. Like, I'm just dirty. I'm a slob. I leave my stuff everywhere. You can ask my family. I mean, they would all say this about me. And it was true based on my behavior. But because I thought that that's just who I am, I did not think that that could change. I didn't really think that I had agency over it. So it was just, this is just who I am. And because of those two things, I didn't have any practice figuring out how to actually keep my space tidy, clean, and peaceful. Keeping a minimal home massively opened the door for me to realize, like, hey, maybe I can keep my room clean. Maybe I can do this. And it motivated me to be able to say, this is well within my control to practice this skill. And now, my mom would be shocked to hear this, I actually enjoy cleaning my house. It is possible to find things that bring value to your life without feeling the need to impulsively shop or constantly bring more inventory into your life. One of those things for me is Kittl, and they are the sponsor of today's video. Kittl is an intuitive, easy to use graphic design tool that helps you be creative and bring your creativity to life. I use it to make my Christmas cards this year. I use it to make my own home decor so that I don't have to constantly buy it and I can just cycle through frames. I actually just used it as well to make a sort of visual morning rhythm for my toddler. I searched toddler in the templates and found this one, which was perfect, but definitely more than I needed. So I just got rid of what I didn't want. I made it a short visual timeline so that she could start initiating things like going potty and getting dressed herself. And she put them on the fridge. She was so excited about it. And we went through each one. And I can totally see this coming into play when we start homeschooling her.
Mommy, let's do it again.
Okay. We go outside for morning light. Whether you're a content creator or simply looking to bring your own creative touch to your home, I highly recommend you check out Kittle. You can sign up for free with the link in my description box below. They are also offering my viewers 25% off your first month or year any of the paid plans with code JessRothleyYT. Thank you, Kittle, for sponsoring today's video. Number 6, normal thing I quit to uplevel my life. Talking negatively about my child or husband. I realized that there was a misalignment between what I said that I believed and what my actions and really my words were saying. I can't say that children are a blessing and that my daughter's existence is such a good thing in her life while constantly making deprecating comments about her, about how much she needs me or how I never get alone time. And the same goes for our husband. I just think, like, if my husband was out and he was saying some of these things to his friends and I was around, how would that make me feel? The same thing goes with my daughter. My daughter just turned 3. She picks up on everything. I think just over time, I've tried to practice discerning the difference between confiding in a trusted friend or non-productive complaining about the people whom I love the most. And what I noticed actually, and this is why it's brought so much life in my life, is that as I curbed my tongue on this, my outlook on my child and my husband slowly became brighter. I stopped noticing as much of the things that maybe used to bother me because I was not letting myself constantly meditate on them. I was practicing turning my attention and my words on the things that I loved and appreciated about them, and I started to notice them more. All that to say, it's really been about 2 things for me. A, really choosing to focus on what I want to grow. And B, practicing the wisdom and discernment with who I share my hardships with. If they're going to be someone that helps me to water the goodness, or if they're going to be someone that waters the negativity. The same goes with people online, whether it's people that you follow, people that you're watching, media that you're consuming. All of that is helping you water something. It's watering something. If you don't know what it's watering, just ask yourself, what is growing in your own heart? The next normal thing I quit to level up in my life was I stopped debating people online. Yes, thank you. It only took me many years. Previously, especially when I had social media and I was running accounts, I would really fall into this trap of feeling like I had to answer every comment, debate everyone. I would let myself get so offended. I would let myself get so angry about things. I read a book called Unoffendable by Brent Hansen, and it has forever changed the way that I think about interactions, particularly online. I just really realized how often in my life I thought it was my right to feel offended. I thought it was my right to be able to get angry at people, and that it was my job to go around defending myself. People will say hurtful things. There's basically 2 choices. I could take on what they're saying and make it really personal and let it get all rubbed into me, get angry about it, and be thinking about it for hours. Or I could not respond, or I could respond graciously and simply choose to stay unaffected by what other people online say. I used to not want to do that because then I would be like, well, then they're going to think that they're right. I don't know if it's because I'm almost 30 or I'm just really maturing, but I just don't care. You can't control what other people think. I would rather put that energy towards having interesting conversations with people I know or that want to engage in honest conversation with me. The last normal thing I quit to level up my life was buying clothes that are really tight or uncomfortable to wear. I have so many clothes regret, whether it's the sheer amount of clothes that I used to own or buying things that were like trendy that I didn't actually like, but they were just trendy, so that's why I bought them. Ultimately though, my biggest regret was that I spent so many years of my life buying clothes that were so uncomfortable to wear. Whether that was jeans that dug into my stomach and would literally give me stomach aches, clothes that were so tight because I felt like I had to put my body on display, validating my value that I was bringing to the world. It never made me feel comfortable. I started investing in pieces that let my body breathe, that let me be able to fluctuate at different weights, whether it was nursing, postpartum, and that allowed me to feel beautiful and feminine and comfortable. I am done using clothes as a means to perform for people and to use my body as a way to get validation. That in of itself, letting that go, that's an instant glow up. That's it. 8 things that I thought were normal that I quit to level up my life. I want to know which one of these stuck out to you or resonated with you. Let's chat below. I am so glad you're here, and I will see you in the next video.